Hi guys, this is Little Miss Horror here, and for today's goth topic on Wednesday, I will be talking about my goth pet peeves. I've kind of got inspired by this video that Kai Decadence made. I'm not sure if a lot of goths do this. I'm not sure if he was the one that kind of started this, because I know Alien Queen of Darkness also did a video called Goth Pet Peeves. But whoever started, I think it could have been Kai, but I kind of just felt like, why not rant and ramble about my issues with the goth scene, especially when it comes to non-goths that pretty much bastardize the subculture. So here we go. The first pet peeve I could think of is the stupid goth titty girlfriend trend. Okay, so it started out as a little simple meme. I'll admit, I kind of thought the meme was kind of funny at first. It's just supposed to be like a really dumb joke. But unfortunately, people took this meme way too fucking seriously. Or they actually think that's all goth girls are about. Kinky, BDSM shit and all of that. It's even really cringy whenever some freaking basic bitches want to like put on like this dark makeup and dark clothing and go, oh, I'm a goth girlfriend too. I am your goth girlfriend. And just even those makeup tutorials I keep seeing when I look up every time. It's so annoying when I look up goth makeup. I keep seeing some girls that know jack shit about the subculture do a goth girlfriend makeup look. I'm not saying non-goths can try out gothic makeup tutorials. I've seen some that do some pretty decent ones way before this whole trend came on the internet, but it's one thing to find a certain person, people in a subculture attractive, you know, I get that. We all have our types and stuff. I'm attracted to metalhead dudes, but it's another when you treat them like sex objects. Like, they're people. They're not really something you need to think of. They're not really your outlet for your wet fantasies. And the second pet peeve, that whole quote, so goth as fuck. I guess the metalheads got really annoyed with the whole so metal as fuck video too. Like the whole so metal as fuck kind of saying. It's just this really annoying saying whenever someone does something super edgy or dark, they just go, oh, that's so goth as fuck, when really not everything that's edgy automatically means it's goth. Like, I don't know, I just kind of, it was funny at joke at first, but then I see so much of it everywhere, and now it's starting to get so fucking annoying. Next pet peeve. When non-goths cannot get goth characters portrayed right. What I mean by this is, have you ever noticed when you're in some kind of art community or especially whenever some animators or cartoonists try to make a goth character, but whenever they try to make a goth character, like quote unquote goth character, they always make them be like the most edgiest, cynical, depressing, antisocial person, and always make them listen to like dark black metal and shit, claim it's goth, when really that's not what goths really are. If you want to reference and show their musical interest, please look up what goth music is when you make a goth character, acknowledge the scene. And not all goths are antisocial. Like, there are some that are introverts, and most goths I've seen are really interactive with other goths in the subculture. Hell, why goth events and goth clubs exist, so we can interact with other people to bond with the music. Because again, like metal subculture, goth is a music-based subculture. And not all goths are so depressive and cynical as shit. Sure, there may be some that can be cynical and stuff, but that's with people in general. Most goths are very happy, outgoing, and very uplifting. So this is kind of like a one stereotype I get really annoyed when people make goth characters. Now, at least with the South Park creators, sure, they made the goths kind of, a bit cynical, but it was a parody done right, because most of the jokes they do with the goth kids are basically a big satire of the shit that went on with the goth scene around the 90s and shits. Especially with the whole burning down Hot Topic and stuff. And that's actually what kind of makes it funny, because they did the research and pretty much parodized the whole goth scene. And which leads to my next pet peeve. Basic ass bitches fitting the goth trend. When I mean like this, you know, those kind of girls that we used to make fun of alternative goths and metalhead people back in high school, and always thought, oh, this stuff is so creepy and shit. But because of some popular brands they sell today and stuff, and due to some movies and TV shows with witchy things, now people treat, and of course the SoundCloud subculture, like the SoundCloud rap subculture, they treat it as this big fashion trend and try so hard to be edgy as possible to fit the goth trend, when really they just end up looking like fucking posers, and it's really fucking obnoxious. Like, and then they try to make up back claims. Well, I kind of listened to this kind of music back then, like this was a bunch of black metal, and I just want to go, no, stop, please. Keep our subculture off of your hashtag, please. It's really fucking annoying. Next pet peeve. Calling everything God just because something is black or spooky. I guess this kind of fits with the so goth as fuck pet peeve, but I just really get so annoyed whenever everyone calls everything goth now, especially when it has nothing to do with this music subculture and stuff. They would always confuse gothic with goth, and when there's some spooky shit, or someone wears a lot of black wardrobe and stuff, or had that cynical personality and stuff, I just gotta say, being all cynical, depressing, wearing black and edgy shit, even liking spooky stuff, doesn't automatically make you a goth. Please, really, cut that shit out. And the next pet peeve. When people avoid the question of your favorite goth bands. What I mean that is, whenever you're, say, a new person's new in the subculture, or they claim to be in the subculture for a while, some goths try to ask them what their favorite goth bands are. And for some reason, a lot of them dodge the bullet to this question and just don't want to respond. They just go, oh, I do listen to goth music and stuff, but don't ever listen to goth bands. We just want to know what it is. And most of the time, they get really scared of coming off as a poser, being afraid to tell us the bands they listened to, they thought was goth, really isn't goth. It's like, really? No, we're not gonna... Sure, we won't really shun you if you don't really know. I mean, sure, some might give you the wince eye if you say, like, let's say Rob Zombie is goth or something like that. Yeah, people might give you the west eye. That's like the worst thing you can do. But most of the time, we just kind of want to correct you and learn what goth music actually is. Because, to be told, we in the goth subculture are aware that the goth music is so underrated. It's been under the underground. And people often confuse goth music with metal and industrial. So don't be afraid to avoid the damn question. We just want to help you and correct you what it actually sounds like, and we're not going to shit on your music taste. Like, I like metal as the next person, but I still want to, like, help out people understand why some certain bands and some certain music styles don't really classify under goth. And the next question, which I guess it kind of follows up for my last pet peeve. Not what is the question I meant? Sorry, I meant like pet peeve. It kind of follows on the last pet peeve, but lumping goth with metal, punk, and emo. Whenever people lump goth, metal, punk, and emo in the same category, this has been a huge ass pet peeve of mine. Yes, they're alternative subcultures. Yes, they all like the dark and spooky aesthetics, and some might have the fascination horror, but they're not the fucking same thing. What really separates them is the music. Because if you look into the history of each one genre, they originate from a different kind of music genre. Like, I really kind of hate whenever people make a metal character, they lump it over a goth, or they always go, oh, emo, goth emo. It's like, that's not a fucking thing. You're either goth if you like listening to goth music more. You're either metalhead because you like listening to metalhead music more. You're either emo because you like listening to emo music a bit more. And you're either punk because you prefer punk music a lot more. Like, seriously, it's really not that hard to separate those alternative subcultures. And that's why it really aggravates a lot of goths like me. And it also kind of really annoys other people in these other alternative subcultures too. And the next pet peeve: normal people thinking having a cynical personality make you a goth. I think I had already mentioned this, but when it came to the whole making a goth character, but I just really don't get how a cynical and nihilistic kind of personality makes someone a goth, because almost anyone can be cynical at times. Anyone can be cynical. Like, it really has nothing to do with goth at all. And I don't really see why people have to portray goths as the most depressive shit ever. Sure, the music kind of has that melancholy tone with the world, but goths are really not like depressive, and that's just like a really annoying stereotype where they're all mopey, I hate everything and shit. It's like, gosh, that really makes me cringe. And my next pet peeve: when people think Wicca and Satanism are goth religions. And I cringe at this one so much because goth has nothing to do with religion. It is a music-based subculture. Satanism and Wicca are its own religions. They come from many different roots. These existed way before goth existed. Sure, there are some goths who are Wiccans and some that are Satanists, but that does not mean it's like, you know, it doesn't make these religions goth, because there are some goths that are Catholics, there are some that are agnostic, some are Muslims, some are Buddhists. Like, it's like whatever. Some are even atheists or atheists. So, like, goth just never has anything to do with religion. And as much as I like, you know, those alternative brands, they're kind of guilty of lumping that with like gothic stuff, and that just leads to a really bad misconception to non-goths, especially Christians out there outside of the subculture, would think this is all evil hexes and spell shit, when that's really not the case. Next pet peeve: alternative brands making t-shirts with the stupidest quotes ever. And when I mean stupidest quotes, I mean when they have like the most misanthropic quotes, or say shit like the sad goth, or they would like have like these misanthropic sayings on t-shirts. And as much as I love Killstar, because I do enjoy their dresses and stuff, they're kind of guilty of this when they put this stupid shit on their t-shirts. And it gives non-goths a bad impression that goths are like the most depressive, nihilistic, antisocial people. And no, I just feel like I just really don't see the point in putting those kind of sayings on some shirts, honestly. I just really don't. Next pet peeve: gothic pickup lines. Especially whenever it's some fucking fuckboy, when they see a goth girl say, oh, please sacrifice me to the devil and stuff, oh, eat me alive, and they say the most cringiest, edgy pickup line you could think of, and it's like, dude, we don't really worship and sacrifice to Satan. Like, I don't know, like, these pickup lines can be kind of funny if you kind of want to poke fun at fuckboys like this, but on the other hand, guys, if you really want to impress a goth girl, do not do this. It's very fucking cringy, and you most likely won't get laid by one. Next pickup line. And I had mentioned this earlier with one of... Oh wait, did I say pickup line? Sorry. This is like unscripted. Next pet peeve is thinking BDSM is a goth thing. Like, and I had mentioned this before with the whole, I guess it ties in with my first pet peeve I mentioned with the whole goth city girlfriend trend. People do think BDSM is like a goth thing, and when they see someone wearing BDSM stuff and bondage and stuff, they think automatically, oh, that person's goth and stuff, and this is what goths are about, especially when crime shows badly portray goths in this kind of way. Now, I will say this. There's always been sexiness within the goth subculture. It's really nothing new. Yeah, we wore fishnets, chokers, bondage, and harnesses stuff. Though it's more kind of like a darker punk sense kind of fashion, because punks and metalheads would also kind of wear this kind of stuff too, and anyone alternative, because it looks kind of cool, and it can give off like that rebel or dark kind of vibe. But that doesn't really mean all goths are into BDSM. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I will be a hypocrite because I kind of do have a BDSM kink. But that does not mean all goths are into that stuff. They probably just like the style it is, and they just like to wear it, you know? Because there are like a bunch of goth musicians that would dress in some of this kind of stuff. Especially in the post-punk and death rockers usually wear this kind of stuff, and they just want to pay tribute to their favorite musicians. So yeah, like BDSM and goth are like completely different communities. Don't really lump the two together. Next pet peeve. Whenever you correct someone about goth music, then they go apeshit on you. Yeah, this kind of falls under the questioning someone what their favorite goth band is, but for right here, it's like whenever you try to correct someone when they claim a band is goth or a genre or something, and you try to explain why it isn't, even whenever you're not sounding like a dick about it, and you just want to show them some examples or ask them what their preferred sound is so you could help them find a goth sound they'll like, then they'll just, whenever you try to help correct them, they'll immediately call you a fucking elitist for it. Like, I had that happen to me once whenever I was talking about in a thread something goth music related and some goth group I was in, someone think if Evanescence counts. I say yes, I do have one addicting song from them. And I love Evanescence so much, but I had to explain to them why Evanescence isn't goth and was never really a goth band. And holy shit, they just got all ass hurt and went all, oh, that's it, I will never get into goth music. I mean, that just sounds really close-minded. Yes, I get it. It may be kind of hard to get into a new genre, and I know post-punk is not the preferred goth music young goths would probably get into, but you know, don't be so close-minded, because you probably are missing out with different goth genres that aren't always 80s post-punk. We just kind of want to help you kind of understand the music, and we also kind of want to encourage you to actually get into it, to see there might be an actual goth genre out there that you might actually like, or some bands, you're just really missing out on them. And we're not shitting on your music taste, because just because we're trying to help correct you, it does not mean you only have to listen to goth music, because that'd be fucking boring. Like, look at me. I still listen to the metal music, some edgy emo stuff I used to listen to in high school, and I really, really love chiptune. But I just prefer myself goth, because I just really like goth music a bit more, because it just sounds sweezy to me. And you can still like other genres. It doesn't have to be just a goth genre. You just have to take some enjoyment within the music. And the next pet peeve, and this is one that I always notice this, inside the goth subculture with not all elder goths, but some majority of the close-minded ones, whenever elder goths dismiss new goth bands. Like, whenever there's like a new goth band I take a liking to, that is out right now, and I really like the sound, and you try to make some discussions with it, some freaking 80s goth elitists, well, an actual elitist, like, that is, like, way too obsessed with 80s post-punk bands, they'll automatically dismiss that goth band that's playing right now. Oh, it's a ripoff of Sisters of Mercy and the Bauhaus original. They should come up with a better sound. It's a ripoff. Oh my gosh, I hate whenever people do that ripoff logic, because in that case, maybe some current metal bands rip off older metal bands just because it sounds similar. But you know, they don't really seem to realize these modern goth bands take a lot of inspiration from those goth legends back then from the 80s, but they want to mix it with some modern sound, and I find that really interesting. And I'm sorry guys, as much as I love The Cure, the Sisters of Mercy, Susie Sue, and all of them, they're not gonna last forever as a band, and they will eventually split apart and move on. Like, we might as well accept the goth music right now, because if we don't have any new goth bands that we have today, then the goth scene will probably be officially dead. And we need to really keep the goth scene alive and get it out of the underground. So yeah, those are my goth pet peeves. And I really hope you don't mind the whole rambling, and I'm sorry if it's not scripted. I'm just too busy trying to get prepared for another video that I'm currently looking over the scripts on. And I didn't really feel like scripting this because I just kind of want to express my thoughts and emotions when it comes to my rants and rambles. But I really do hope whenever it comes next goth topic, I'll try to see if I can script these a bit better so I don't stutter a lot. So see you guys next time.